So, question of the day. That's right. We are on the road again this week. Random hotel in Wisconsin today. But wanted to bring you some video reviews. And today we were talking about a game all about traveling and backpack out of the way. I don't even have the tripod with me. All about traveling and more than traveling, about racing. So, question of the day: what is your favorite racing game when it comes to board games? What is your favorite racing game? Would it be Camel Cup or something like that where you're betting, or is it Camel Up? Excuse me. What am I thinking? Or is it something like cars or automobiles, whatever that game's called? Let me know in the comments below what your favorite racing game is, as we take a game now all about racing through the desert called Caracho. It is a game in which you are racing these neat little standy cars, but you're not actually racing a car. You are betting on a certain outcome. Maybe your car team will win versus the other team's cars coming in last or whatever, but you're betting against a result, or betting for a result, more so than you're betting with your car. Doesn't make sense when I say it like that, but let's take a look how it plays. It's a super quick teach. We'll come back up and talk about what it is right now. So this is Caracho here. You've got this race in the desert, a wild game. Like, you've got these 4 or 5 standee cars. You're going to randomly set them out in random positions. You have the grid here for the river, runs through the middle, and then one more over here, and then the finish line over here. Now what's going to happen is you're going to get 3 of these cards, and you're going to choose 2 at the beginning of the game. These are cards that tell you what position roughly you want a certain card to end up and how many points you're going to get if it ends there. So for instance, this card is you want the black car to end in 3rd place, and you'll get 4 points. This one is you want the blue car to end in 1st place, and you'll get 4 points. So you're not playing as a single car. You're going to be playing as everyone, trying to mitigate and get these results so that you can have the most points at the end of the game. It's similar in a sense to an 18xx game in the fact that you don't actually play as a train company, or you don't play as a racing company. You're playing as someone betting on the race, basically. So what's going to happen is on your turn, you're going to roll 3 dice. After having decided these at the beginning of the game, the 2, you're going to roll 3 dice. You're going to place 2 of them onto 2 different vehicles. So let's just say we place here and here. Now, if there are 2 identical symbols on one car, they will then move forward. So let's just say this had happened instead, and someone else had gone earlier. This car would then move forward. It moves based on its position. 1st place moves 1 space. 2nd is 2, 3rd is 3, 4th is 4, and 5 is 5. If a car moves over the water, it's no big deal. If it moves into the water, it stops cold exactly there and has to have 3 symbols of the same to move out. If this happens, the point is to slow down so that if someone else, because you'll notice multiple people can have the same card, so someone might have the blue car in 1st place, whereas someone might have the blue car in, I don't know, 3rd place or something like that, and you're both vying for this car to be in 2 different positions. So for instance, the person with the card on the right wants them to be in 1st place. This one wants to be in 3rd place. And this one's going to be trying to slow down this car, whereas this one's going to be trying to speed up the blue car to help it get out of there. So you get an interesting push and pull mechanic from these hidden cards. But it's a very simple, quick game. The game will end once all 4 positions have been filled. You'll then evaluate how everyone's scored. Check that. Person with the most points wins the game. So that's how you play Caracho. Now, interesting game, right? I had not heard of this until it just showed up in one of the boxes as Tom randomly sends me all the time. But I wanted to point out a couple of interesting things about this. The game actually looks really good. To be such a simple board of desert, water, desert, water, desert, it's pretty simple looking as far as the board goes and the cards. The dice are nice, but what I really like are the cards. The cards actually look really good in this game. You have the cool little representations, and they're 3-dimensional instead of being flat. So presentation wise, it's a small box. It's kind of basic when it comes to the cards and the board, but the actual cards themselves look really good. Now, as far as the gameplay mechanics, so that's how you play the game. We just talked about it, but I want to break this down for a second. I actually really like the idea of betting on a position of a car versus trying to just win. Racing games in which you're just trying to win, to me, lack a little bit of They lack a little bit of depth, not so much depth. I'm trying to think. Multi-dimensional layers. What's great about this game is the multi-dimensional layer and the fact that you are trying to put a car at a certain position. So you're not necessarily trying to win. You might be trying to come in third with a car from one of the cards that you choose. And I like that. I also like that you and someone else are going to be potentially trying to move the same car but to a different position. So you've got to push and pull to see, wait a minute, are they trying to score further than me? Or are they trying to score behind me? And how can you capitalize on that in the moment to go, no, I can take this and go a step further right now and let's move, right? I really like the idea that the car in the front place moves one space and the one in the last moves, I think it's 4 or 5 spaces. I think that's a cool mechanic. Now, the only downside of that is it's a little bit wonky in the sense that if you're in the car in the very last is always going to move pretty far forward. Now, granted, it typically means mathematically they're ever only going to be one space ahead of the pack, which is nice. You can kind of predict and work on that. So it's like an X plus 1 or X plus 2 or X plus 3 sort of deal, which is interesting. But what I really like is that moment of strategy of, wait a minute, do I try to put the dice here and get this card to move, or do I put the dice here and hopefully this will come along and move it? And will I drop it mathematically right into the water so I can let it come in later? Or should I just go ahead and try to rush it forward and get across the water, and maybe someone will think that I'm trying to get that card to win, only to turn around at the end and slow it down some by playing other cards. So there's a big push and pull when it comes to that. Now, ups and downs of the game, it is very quick. It is very, very much the same thing mechanically every turn. You're rolling dice, placing dice. But at the end of the day, the really cool replay value does come in the fact that you are, you're getting these different sets of cards. So yes, they are the same thing. You're putting this car and this car in this position and this position. But it's not the easiest thing in the world. And playing with more people makes it more fun, because you really then get that interplay, that exchange of, okay, what am I going to do this turn? Am I going to get that car out there, or am I going to hold on to it? So really great, fun little car racing game. It's in the vein of Camel Up in the sense that you're betting on positions and things like that. I do like Camel Up as a game much better, but for a quick onto the table, just throw it out there and play, this one's got a lot of interesting things going for it. So that is Caracho. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Bryan. And it's cold outside here in this hotel, so hopefully we will see you back home next time in a warm place. Till then, we'll see you.